Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with one of the main, or maybe even the main man at Matchroom, Frank Smith. Frank, sir, how you doing?
I'll never be the main man, mate. I make the teas and coffees. Leave me in my place, in my box over there. Don't try and build me up, please.
According to the comments, that's what you do, but I know that's much more than what you do. But maybe in the future, one of the main man, the way I feel the trajectory is going anyway. But let's set the table for what has been a tumultuous week. But you've come up with a solution here with Helenius being the opponent for Joshua, Dillian Whyte had to be relieved of that post because of testing positive for performance-enhancing substances. Can you talk me through the process of getting Helenius as the opponent?
Yeah, look, it was a mad few days. Obviously, we got the news early Saturday morning, and we moved as quickly as possible. Got the news out there as soon as we could, and yeah, we went through. I think everyone's got their opinion on what opponent we should have gone with. We got approached by 30, 40, 50 different opponents to take this fight. Obviously, understandably, they would all want this opportunity. At the same time, you have to pick the right style of fight. You know, southpaws. AJ hasn't been training for a southpaw, so that really knocks a load of those opportunities out. And you have to pick someone who's not going to try and take the piss, really, because a lot of people looked at it and said, it's my opportunity to go and get $5 million when I'm probably worth $500,000. So we had to find the right opponent. I think we've got a perfect opponent in Robert Helenius. He's been training, obviously, for his comeback fight he had last Saturday, got that shake, some of that ring rust off. That there's going to be natural comparisons to the Wilder fight, but he went in there against an opponent in Deontay Wilder who's had late 30 knockouts in his career, and he goes in there and he knocks people out. He got caught by a big shot, and he got caught by a shot because he went in there to actually have a fight. Didn't go in there to shy away and stay out of the way, and so I think it's a great opponent. I think it's a great card, top to bottom, stacked heavyweight card, a lot of talent on there, so excited for it.
Can you whittle down what the sensible offers were that were on the table when it came to picking Helenius' fight? And also, in this situation, which promoters were able to kind of assist you and help you in this situation, as opposed to maybe hinder you, with an opponent?
I don't think it's about. It's an opportunity for everyone to try and do some business at the end of the day for promoters, managers. So we had everyone you can imagine come on suggesting opponents. As I say, though, it has to be the right fight. People saying should have fought Hrgovic. Well, Hrgovic has been training for a southpaw for 10 weeks in his camp. He's the mandatory for the IBF title if he comes through this fight on Saturday night. He's not just going to jump in to fight Anthony Joshua just because it's, Dempsey McKean, southpaw. So people said should have fought McKean, southpaw. Gerald Washington, one we possibly looked at but decided not to go with. He's obviously fighting Derek Chisora on the card. Derek Chisora very close with Anthony Joshua, has been for a long time. He'd fight anyone, but I think we decided against that route. And Gerald and his Robert and his team were brilliant to deal with. Obviously represented by TGB. We have a good relationship with them. Have done for a long time, and Mike Barreo as well. And we got a deal done very quickly. And that's what you want in these situations. You want to work with people who aren't going to try and block and get in the way.
There was a lot of discussion about the potential of Derek Chisora being in place instead of Dillian Whyte. A lot of the discussion lent on the fact that nobody really wanted to see Derek in the ring against that level of competition when he's been in the ring before against that level of competition, been on the end of a pasting, according to the boxing public. Was that part of your reasoning to not see Derek Chisora as a serious option here?
I think the bigger part with Derek Chisora is he's known Anthony Joshua for a long, long time, longer than I've known the two of them. And he's obviously managed as well and represented by 258 and AJ's management company. I don't think it was a realistic option, but I think we decided there was better options to go with. It's just the reality of it.
There was an interesting tidbit that Raheem picked up on with David Hay, and he said that Chisora told him in the weeks leading up to this that he knew Dillian Whyte was going to fail a test and he was then pushing to replace him. What's your understanding of that situation as to Chisora knowing about Whyte's situation?
I think that sounds like I love Derek Chisora to bits. I've loved him for a long, long time. He's a good mate of mine. But he does say a lot of things to create headlines, and that's what he does. I don't think Derek Chisora knew about. We found out about it on Saturday. That's when anyone knew about the information. So that's Derek probably and David Hay maybe saying things that will build up the potential of that fight.
Mystic Meg, Mystic Dell in that situation, I guess, maybe. Look, I want to kind of widen the conversation in terms of kind of the last year in boxing where we had these kind of things creep up. They creep up every now and again, unfortunately. But what does it say about the sport in general when these things about drugs and drugs testing rear their head?
Yeah, look, I think we all want a clean sport. It's what we're all focused on. I think at the same time you have to give people the opportunity to go through a process. That's the reality of it. Whether people want to hear that or not, in any situation in life, you should always have a fair opportunity to defend yourself. Not saying Dillian's now got that case he's got to deal with on his own. He's got to go through it with his legal team. We're not involved in that process. I think we should give people that opportunity and then make a judgment when the actual details are out there. There's a lot of people talking about when was the test, what was the test failed for, etc. No one knows the detail around it. So it's very hard to talk and make decisions without actually understanding it. I don't understand enough about it. Just like the Conor Benn situation. There's specialists within that field whose job it is to come up with a decision. And we have to let that take place. Ultimately, though, we all want a clean sport. And that's our focus. That's why we put this drug testing in across all of it, or the majority of our fights. You have the local drug testing with the commissions and the boards. But yeah, we all want to focus on a clean sport.
Have you had the conversation with Dillian, and also are you potentially hesitant in the future to work with Dillian in the sense that, look, he's got the opportunity to clear himself and that's what he'll look to do, but this is the third or fourth occasion where this has reared its head, and in this situation it's potentially a liability that the show could have eventually got cancelled, so does that cause hesitancy to work with Dillian in the future?
I think it's very early days. You've got to let him deal with that before you look into anything else. We've seen how long these discussions have gone on with Conor Benn, nearly 9-10 months, I think now. So the sport's in a different place in 10 months' time. Dillian Whyte's not young. He's been in the sport a long time. I don't know how long this takes. I don't want to go into detail of it. It's not my place to go into detail of it. I think he has to deal with that, and people can make a decision from there.
Moving on, word on the street is Joshua Wilder is done, subsequent to Joshua winning the fight at the weekend. Is that the truth?
If it is, we're all working towards doing it. We all want to make it happen. It's not done, it's not signed, but that is everyone's intent, is to make that fight happen. So all I can say is we are all focused on that being the end goal.
Just rewind slightly, just a question I forgot to ask you. I don't know if you saw Victor Conte's response or at least input on the situation, asking for transparency in the situation with Dillian Whyte. Is that something that Matchroom can offer?
It's not our place, these things are confidential, as they were with Conor Benn. And people take a frustration or their frustration out on us. We're not allowed to talk about it. We can't go into detail of it. It's not our place to talk about it. So. I nearly caught it. So quick.
That's right.
Sorry, we had a camera issue.
Just picking that back up there.
I can't believe he just came over and kicked your camera like that. Just went bang.
You point him out to me and I'll have a word with him.
No,
but
who was it? Which one of you was it?
But yeah, you were saying on the input of Victor Conte in this situation.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where these matters are confidential. We're not the party involved in it, so we can't talk on it. Dillian Whyte has to deal with that with his legal team and with VADA and the relevant bodies. So, I understand why people want to. Everyone wants to be an expert and know everything these days, and everyone wants the information at their hands. But a lot of people don't really understand what they're looking at. Is the truth. I don't understand 75% of the documents because it's not my world. I'm not employed to make a judgment call on someone. That's why these bodies are there. So, yes, we all want a clean sport and we all want transparency in the sport. But that doesn't mean you have every single detail around it, because it's a confidential matter that's going to have a process that they go through. Rightly or wrongly, whether people agree with that's what has to happen.
Now, there were some aspersions in the conversation between Simon Jordan and Eddie Hearn, not about who won the conversation, we'll leave that to the side for the moment, but about, I think it is the company that Matchroom are using to test athletes and how that's being used when you get the results for that. Can you clear up what the situation is there with that particular testing authority?
So, drug-free sport.
That's right.
Yeah, drug-free sport, handle testing for a number of the major leagues in the US. And the thing people don't understand about testing is VADA is a body, like drug-free sport is a body, that send it to an independent lab. And the majority of these testing agencies will use the same lab to test it. So they're just a different body. Like VADA, you could go and create, you could be a doctor and say, I'm going to go and create my own testing agency, like what Dr. Margaret Goodman has done with VADA. Someone's done that with drug-free sport. You could do it if you were an expert in the field. I'm not going to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. Drug-free sport, it's in it. We share test results with it. We're happy for everyone to see test results. We're not hiding anything. It's not. We put testing in place to ensure the bouts are safe. The biggest thing here is people will judge us on what happened around the Conor Benn situation. Situations are very different. Two different, completely different examples. But at the end of the day, we're also saying we learned and we made improvements. So rather than go, they didn't do this way, just go, okay, well done, they handled this the right way. No one's ever going to be happy with us. But when it comes to drug-free sport, it's just another testing agency we use. And when we get test results, everyone will see, or the relevant parties will see them, not Twitter, but the fighter, the opponents, etc.
Sound like my mom asking me if I want to be a doctor in the future. I kindly rejected that to both you and my mother. But moving on, but sticking with the same theme, Conor Benn, look, he's now provisionally, his suspension has been provisionally lifted. He's now looking to pursue getting a license. Has that process started? Where are we with that process now for Conor to return to the ring?
Yeah, look, as you say, his suspension's been lifted, so now the focus, there's nothing stopping him from having a licence in boxing in the UK. Obviously, that's a discussion the teams and the legal teams are going through currently, and hopefully hoping for some news soon. But we want to move forward with Conor, and Conor does in a positive manner, and just get back doing what he does best, get back boxing, and he's had nearly a year out the ring. No, over a year out the ring. He boxed in April, didn't he? So, the key for us and the focus for us is to get him back active, and hopefully some news soon.
Is Haney Prograis happening?
Working on it. Very close. Very close. Hopeful we can get it done very soon.
John Fury has offered for yourself and Eddie to take him on 2-on-1 in the scene. You interested?
No, thanks. I've never said anything bad about John Fury. I think he's a great guy. Eddie said a lot about him, but if they want to do a one-on-one fight, much more fair. I'm too small to get involved in all that.
Now, there was supposed to be a purse bid scheduled between Jai Opetaia and Richard Riakporhe, boxer, I believe, and Matchroom boxer and Richard Riakporhe have now obviously left that situation. Eddie expressed his disappointment. I believe you have too. But what's your understanding of that situation, and where does that leave Jai?
Yeah, look, I'm disappointed. Firstly, disappointed for Jai because this has happened twice now. He went through the process with Masterneck over probably 2 months or so to try and get a deal done, and then Boxer got involved and messed around so they could do the Masterneck Billam Smith fight. Fine. Then Riakporhe was the mandatory. Then they leave it to the day before the purse bid to pull out. So firstly, let's talk about Jai Opetaia, someone who's been out of the ring for long enough with injuries, wants to get back active, wants to get back boxing as soon as possible, and you've got people messing him around doing that. But we will work as hard as we can. We've got to get a big fight now for him, and that will be our focus, obviously with Tasman fighters as well, to get a date set up as soon as possible for him. Pulling out the purse bid. Look, Richard Riakporhe, I get on very well with Richard Riakporhe. I wouldn't say anything bad about Richard. I love him. He's a great guy. I've always had a great relationship with him as well, even after he hasn't worked with Matchroom. I think what's frustrating for me is you've got to wonder what these people are being told. The reality of the situation is Ben Shalom and Boxer didn't want to lose another purse bid. It's what they did with Fraser Clark against Fabio Wardley. You're taking huge opportunities away from fighters. You come into the sport saying it's all about the fighters, it's all about working together. It's a load of bollocks. It's complete and utter bollocks. That's the reality of it. You haven't got the best interest of the fighters. You've got the best interest of your business. Fair enough. I'm not by the way, I'm not saying sometimes you have to make decisions for your business, but say that. Say that. Be open. Say, we pulled Fraser Clark and Richard Riakporhe out of these purse bids because it doesn't suit us for them to take place in fights on other promoter shows. Easy as that. Good luck to you, Shalom.
Frank, I'll leave the final word with you because you've got the Bay Media looking for the pound of flesh from you. Welcome fans who will be at the arena and also be tuning in to the DAZN. What can they expect to see on Saturday night when they watch Joshua versus Helenius?
Look, you've got a massive heavyweight card Saturday night. Anthony Joshua, Robert Helenius. Look, I think not an ideal situation, but I think he's going to go in there, and I think Robert Helenius is going to bring a fight. And I think we're going to see the best of Anthony Joshua. He's had an amazing training camp, and he's improved a lot, and he wants to show those improvements. You've got Gerald Washington against Derek Chisora. Chisora always brings war, as we know. Filip Hrgovic, Dempsey McKean, mandatory for the IBF World title after this. You've got Johnny Fisher's first title fight. You're going to have the Bosch Army there. Going crazy. There he is. See, he's just giving me a Bosch from. There he is.
Just with the Goblin at the minute.
Yeah, the Goblin.
Goblin.
Yeah. Call me a Goblin as well. out of order. Johnny Fisher's first title fight. You got Campbell Hatton, you got Maisie Rose, you got George Liddard, you got Brandon Scott, who's dressed as Spider-Man today. Don't miss it. Live on DAZN as part of your subscription, or be there at the O2. We're going to have a packed house. See you then.
Frank, the Goblin Smith, thanks for speaking to SecondsOut, sir. Much appreciated. Cheers.